Hello and welcome to Fayette County Public Library Storytime. Today our first story is The Apple Doll. Beautiful apples hanging on the apple tree, couple of birds. Sweet little ladybug perched on the branch. Lizzie loved her apple tree. She loved to pretend it was a skeleton rattling in the autumn wind, a gingerbread cake with snowy frosting, a blossomy springtime cloud, a leafy summer circus. She loved to eat its apples. Apples for crunching, apples for munching, apples for applesauce, cider, and pies. The day Lizzie started school, she picked her favorite apple of all. It was round as a ball, warm as the sunlight, too happy to pack in her lunchbox. Lizzie rubbed the apple's freckled skin against her cheek. She told the apple a secret. "I'm scared to start school," she whispered. "What if I don't make any friends?" "I'll be your friend," Lizzie pretended the apple whispered back. Lizzie named her apple Susanna and made her an apple twig body. Susanna danced in the treetop. "Lizzie," called her mother, "come down now. You'll be late for school." "Here I am, Mama," said Lizzie. "And here is your sandwich and juice," Mama said. "Now, why did you put that apple on a stick? It won't fit in your lunchbox." "That's okay," Lizzie replied. "I'm going to keep this apple." "An apple won't keep forever," warned Lizzie's big sister Jill. "It'll get all mushy and rotten." Lizzie drew a face on Susanna. She held her up like a puppet and said, "Mushy? Rotten? Not me!" Jill made a face of her own. "You're always pretending, Lizzie. School will be good for you. You'll make some real friends." Lizzie wasn't so sure. As she sat in her new classroom and looked at all the strange faces, Lizzie wished she could run home and hide in her apple tree. She breathed in Susanna's sweet smell and felt better. Susanna was a small piece of her tree. "No food during class time, dear," said Lizzie's teacher, Miss Maxwell. "We wait until lunchtime to eat." "She isn't food," said Lizzie, showing Miss Maxwell Susanna's smiling face. Miss Maxwell didn't smile back. "No toys during class either, except on sharing day. Please put your apple away now." At lunchtime, Lizzie took Susanna out again. "Is that a doll?" asked a girl named Molly. Lizzie nodded. "Her name is Susanna." "I like her leafy hair," said Molly. "Susanna needs a haircut," yelled a boy named James, snapping off Susanna's stem. "She needs clothes," said a girl named Kate. Lizzie wrapped her napkin around Susanna's twiggy body. "She has a dress," she said. "Why don't you play with a real doll?" asked Kate. "An apple's a silly doll." "Her brains are apple seeds," said James. Lizzie felt like crying, but Susanna just smiled peacefully. "You don't have to go to school anymore," Lizzie told Susanna later that day, "but you do need new hair." After a hug and a snack, Lizzie gathered some scraps of yarn. She gave Susanna soft brown hair and a ride on her dragon and some bright clay animals to play with. Lizzie hoped Susanna would never be lonely while she was at school. But Lizzie was lonely. The weather was getting colder. The family was busy baking and canning and drying apples for winter. "This will be delicious when all the fresh apples are gone," Mama said. "Your own apple isn't looking too fresh, Lizzie," Jill said. "Why don't you make another doll out of a sock or something?" I don't want another doll, said Lizzie. I wish Susanna would last forever. Maybe you could freeze her with the pies, said Jill. Lizzie shook her head. Susanna would hate it in the freezer. You could plant her in the ground, Jill suggested. After a while, her seeds would take root and she'd grow into a baby apple tree. But I don't want to plant Susanna, Lizzie said. I couldn't hold her if she was a tree. You could climb in her, said Jill, and eat her apples in the fall, and every spring she'd blossom. Lizzie thought about that as she watched Papa skin apples for drying. Suddenly she had an idea. Could we dry Susanna? She asked. Why did I think of that? Said Mama. My grandma made me a dried apple doll when I was small. And I didn't get mushy or rotten? Asked Lizzie. Never, Mama said. We'll have to peel Susanna first, but don't worry. I think you'll like watching her change. Lizzie helped Mama peel Susanna and give her a new face. Now, we'll soak her in lemon juice bath so bugs and worms won't eat her, said Mama, and then she can dry out for a week or so. I'm surprised she didn't say something about Susanna having her head down in the lemon juice. Each day, Susanna got a little more wrinkled and smiley. She smelled as fresh as ever, though, like apples and lemons together. One morning, Lizzie gave her cotton hair, blue bead eyes, a lacy shawl, and a bendable new pipe cleaner body because her old twig body was feeling a bit stiff. Well, that was a good idea. Look at her new pipe cleaner limbs. Wow, said Mama when she saw her. Susanna looks better than new. She looks old, said Papa, and very happy and strong. She looks like a little grandma, said Jill. You should show her off at school, Lizzie. It's sharing day today, added Mama. What if the other kids tease her? Asked Lizzie. Jill held up Susanna like a puppet. Tease such a strong, happy, wise old woman? She asked. Never. So Susanna returned to school. This is my apple doll, said Lizzie when it was her turn to share. What an unusual doll, Miss Maxwell said. Where did she come from? She came from my apple tree, Lizzie began. She used to be an apple, and she's still an apple, but we dried her and now she's real, exclaimed Molly. She looks alive. I wish I had a grandma doll, said Kate. I want an apple grandma, yelled James. Your doll is very intriguing, Lizzie, said Miss Maxwell. How would you like to teach us all how to make apple people for our art project tomorrow? Lizzie smiled. You start with apples. The next morning, an apple sat on each desk. Apple people soon started dancing through the classroom. Lots of different apple people there. Lizzie and Susanna had many new friends to play with at home in their tree. It's cute. And spring, summer, autumn, and winter, they always had each other too. Every season of the year they had each other. Well, there we go. And there's all about how to make an apple doll. So if you are interested in making an apple doll, just come to the library and check out the book, The Apple Doll, and you can find out how to do that. All right, Miss Lisa has an activity to share today.
All right, boys and girls, you can see up on our board we have a basket of yellow apples and a basket of red apples. Let's see how many apples are in our yellow basket. Can you count them with me? We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, up here on my board, I have some numbers. Can you count them with me? 1, I know it's hard to see because it's black, but 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 is the number that we want to put with our yellow basket because there were 4 apples in there. Now, boys and girls, at your house, you might not have yellow apples, but you might have some red apples. My husband's favorite is Red Delicious, so I know he likes these. Let's see how many red apples are in our basket today. Oh, it looks like there's a couple that are stuck in there. Let's see, we get all of them out. This one doesn't want to come out. He's stuck. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Look at that. There's also 4 apples in there. Now, boys and girls, I'm going to ask you a good thinking question. If there's 4 apples in this yellow basket and 4 apples in the red basket, do any of you know how many that is altogether? Can you count with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's the one that's stuck, number 8. Now I don't have an 8 up here to show you, but maybe you can show your mommies and daddies how to make an 8. It's 2 circles on top of each other, and that's what an 8 looks like. Well, Miss Kim read you a book about apples, and we have just counted some apples in a basket. I have another story to show you today, too, all about Tucker and his apple day. It's an apple dandy day. So let's see what Tucker does in this story. Here we go. Tucker was excited. His class was going to visit Farmer Sam's apple orchard. "I'll bring home apples," Tucker said. "Dandy, we'll have apple pie," Mother said. "Yum, yum," said Dad and Tulip. Now, if you pay real close attention to the illustration, you might see over here there's a television. Looks like they're predicting some rain today. So let's see if they have rain or if they have a good day. Anybody ever eat carrot crunch for breakfast? I don't know if that's any good. "I hope it doesn't rain today," said Mother. "No way," said Tucker. He's pretty positive, isn't he? Mrs. Blossom's class rode out to the big farm in the country, and it didn't take too long to get there. "Yay, we're here!" shouted Tucker. "Welcome," said Farmer Sam. "Have any of you picked apples before? What about you, boys and girls? Have you guys picked apples? There are several apple farms around here, so I bet you've gone and picked apples before, just like Tucker." "I picked blueberries," said Tucker. Farmer Sam said, "Berry picking is fun, but blueberries grow on bushes and apples grow on..." What do they grow on, boys and girls? "You're right, trees," the children shouted. "Oops," said Tucker. Guess he thought they grew on bushes like blueberries. "I like tractors," said Tucker. "Hop on and go to the orchard," said Farmer Sam. Yay! Tucker and his friends all climbed up onto the big wagon. Vroom, vroom! Farmer Sam started the tractor and they took off. "It's bumpy," said Tucker. Look at all of them. They look like they're being bounced around. "And it's jumpy," Millie agreed. Farmer Sam drove into the orchard. "Pick as many apples as you would like from those low branches," he said. Jonathan, Jared, Beverly, Scout, and Millie all ran to the trees. But Tucker wanted to get a better look at the tractor. "It sure is a dandy," Tucker told Farmer Sam. "I heard Jonathan shout, 'I've got 2 apples.' Can we count them?" 1, 2. You're right. He does have 2. "Look," Jerry called. "I found a little worm in mine. Can you all see the worm right there? Ew." Tucker ran over. "You get all the luck," he said. I don't know. Do you guys think it's lucky to have an Worm in your apple? Not me. Millie looked sad. What's wrong? Asked Tucker. I don't have any apples, said Millie. I can't reach. Well, Tucker looked around, and then he had an idea. He helped Millie step up onto an apple crate. Now I can reach, Millie said. She held on to Tucker with one hand and picked apple after apple with the other. Miss Blossom came over to hold Millie's hand. You've got apples now, Tucker, she said. But Tucker stopped to help Scout move his bag to another tree. Then Beverly needed Tucker's help. Suddenly, big raindrops fell on Tucker's nose. Plop, plip, plop, plop. Oh, I guess the weatherman was right, wasn't he, boys and girls? Time to head back to the barn, Farmer Sam shouted. Everyone hurried to the hay wagon. Everyone except, you're right, Tucker. He reached for an apple. Tucker, hop into the wagon, please, said Mrs. Blossom. But Now, Tucker, Mrs. Blossom said. She used her teacher voice, don't you? Back in the barn, Millie said, I've got 8 apples. I have a whole bagful, said Jonathan. Me too, said Beverly. I didn't get any, said Tucker. Oh, look how sad he is. I have to get some apples, Tucker told Mrs. Blossom. I promised my mom. And his friends heard what he said. Here, Tucker, Millie said, handing him 2 apples. You helped me get these. Take one of my apples, said Jonathan. Take some of mine, said Beverly. Everyone started sharing with Tucker, and soon he had lots of apples. Enough for a pie, Tucker thought happily. Can we count his apples? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would make a good apple pie, wouldn't it? Then they all had fun playing hide and seek. That looks fun. On the bus, everyone sang, Rain, rain, go away, come again another day. And guess what? Soon the sun was shining. I'm proud of you, Tucker, said Mother, when Tucker told her all about his day. You helped your friends, and then your friends helped you. Now, let's go to work. Who brought home the apples for this apple dandy pie? Father asked. Tucker, said Tulip. He helped make the whole pie, said Mom. Well, look what you can do, Tucker's father said. I'm very proud of you. Doesn't that look good, boys and girls? They have ice cream on their pie. That's the best way, isn't it? Yummy. I had lots of help, said Tucker with a smile, but I can eat this pie all by myself. Cute story. This was called Tucker's Apple Dandy Day.
Well, that's my favorite way to have apple pie with ice cream on top.
Me too.
That's really good. You've probably heard the story or the poem, The House That Jack Built. Today we have a story called The Apple Pie That Papa Baked. Apple pie is so good. Here we go. This is the pie, warm and sweet, that Papa baked. You can tell it's still warm because there's steam coming up out of there. That's the best way to eat apple pie. I wonder what she's thinking. And if you look through the window, this is what she sees. So where do you think Papa's going? I have a feeling he's going to the apple tree. Oh, looky there. There she goes. She ran out the house. She wants to see where Papa's going. Looks like the horse wants to know too. And there goes Papa with the ladder up the hill. And I see the rooster crowing on the roof. The sun is just peeking over the hillside. These are the apples, juicy and red, that went in the pie, warm and sweet, that Papa baked. This is the tree, crooked and strong, that grew the apples, juicy and sweet, that went in the pie, warm and sweet, that Papa baked. Look, he already has one basket here gathered up, and another basket here. Looks like it's almost full too. Oh, I didn't notice these. There are 2 more baskets on the ground. These are the roots, deep and fine, that fed the tree, crooked and strong, that grew the apples, juicy and red, that went in the pie, warm and sweet, that Papa baked. You can help me tell the story. You're going to remember some of these phrases, and as I go through, if you would like to help finish the story, just join with me. This is the rain, cool and fresh. See the rain coming down? Looks like Papa doesn't want to be wet. He's running somewhere else. That watered the roots fine and deep. That fed the tree crooked and strong. That grew the apples juicy and red. That went in the pie warm and sweet. That Papa baked. These are the clouds heaped and round, that dropped the rain cool and fresh, that watered the roots deep and fine, that fed the tree crooked and strong, that grew the apples juicy and red, that went in the pie warm and sweet, that Papa baked. I think this is funny. We have a horse and some birds. There's a cat. There's that rooster, and they're all, oh, and there's a pig. They're all looking in the window at Papa and the apples. I think they know what's coming. This is the sky, wide and fair, that carried the clouds heaped and round, that dropped the rain cool and fresh, that watered the roots deep and fine, that fed the tree crooked and strong, that grew the apples juicy and red, that went in the pie warm and sweet, that Papa baked. And this is the sun, fiery and bright, that lit the sky wide and fair, that carried the clouds heaped and round, that dropped the rain cool and fresh, that watered the roots deep and fine, that fed the tree crooked and strong, that grew the apples juicy and red, that went in the pie warm and sweet, that Papa baked. This is the world blooming with life. That spins with the sun, fiery and bright, that lights the sky wide and fair, that carries the clouds heaped and round, that drops the rain cool and fresh, that waters the roots deep and fine, that feed the trees crooked and strong, that grows the apples juicy and red, that go in the pies warm and sweet, that Papa bakes. This is the pie, warm and sweet, that Papa baked. And what do you think will happen next? For me! She says, look, she already has a bite in her mouth. And look at the animals. If you can see this picture, you see that all of these animals have sad looks on their faces because they didn't get a bite. Oh, look, here she comes out with the pie. Look at the animals. Now they're looking happier. And for you! So they're going to share with the animals. There's Papa and the girl. They're having a little picnic out underneath the tree. So the apple pie was for everyone. Wasn't that a sweet way to end the story? And then it looks like everybody's taking a nap. How nice. They must have got their bellies full and now they're ready for a nap. Okay. Well, it was all about apples today. I hope you have an apple soon. It's good for you. Thank you for joining us for Story Time today, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye.